Hi, everybody. Welcome to today's webinar from the AdScale webinar series. Today, we're very excited to have HyperSKU joining us, and we will be discussing two topics. First, Mati Ram, the CEO of AdScale, will be presenting a brief discussion on using AI and first-party data to overcome the loss of the cookie in recent years and how we can utilize that in order to improve our Q4 advertising performance on Google and Facebook. We also have Sean from HyperSKU joining us, and he will be discussing sourcing and fulfillment, particularly during this time of year, making sure that you say you have the right amount of stock, not too much, not too little, and that things get delivered on time. It should be exciting, and I'm looking forward to it. I hope that you are too. A little bit by way of housekeeping, my name is Jonathan Maltz. I'm the head of marketing here at AdScale, and we spoke a little bit about what today's session will entail. At the end, there will be a Q&A. So feel free to ask any questions in your Zoom Q&A window. And at the end, we'll hear from both of our speakers on their thoughts about your questions. So Mati, if you're ready, feel free to activate your video and audio and share your screen. I'll stop sharing mine right now.
I'm ready. Thank you, Jonathan. Hi, everyone. Nice to meet you. My name is Mati Ram. I'm the CEO of AdScale. And I'll talk today about the ability, our way to enjoy the AI technology and leverage that into better advertising and more sales. And the theme of my presentation is don't be late to the party, because I think that just like every other technology, every other new technology, some people adopt it and thrive, and some people reject it, and usually it doesn't end well. So I think it's important to realize what the AI technology can bring to the e-commerce space, and specifically I'll discuss today the AI advertising space. But we'll start at the start. And I think that what we are seeing is that most of advertisers are experiencing substantial decrease in ad performance ever since March 2021, when iOS 14 was launched. And the main reason for the decrease is the death of the third-party cookie. Basically, ever since the internet was invented, the third-party cookie served to track user behavior. Google and Facebook used it extensively in order to make advertising more personalized. I think that the fact that most of the advertising budgets shifted from print and TV and radio into digital is mainly thanks to the cookie and to the ability to serve personalized ads. But with the latest regulations and with the fact that the cookie is banned from Firefox and from Safari, and Facebook is not sharing the data anymore unless you give a consent, and Google declared that they're going to ban the third-party cookie from Chrome, the situation is totally different, and we are approaching an era where Google and Facebook are having less data, less accurate data, with less capabilities to match it with the persons, so it's more generic data. And that is the main reason why we see decrease in ad performance, and we will continue seeing decrease in ad performance unless we will change something in the equation. And that forces us to think out of the box, or if I may, out of the cookie box. And the question is, what will make the results great again? And we believe that the answer for that is a combination of first-party data as opposed to the third-party cookie and AI. So what is first-party data? First-party data refers to all the data that we collect from our customers' orders. So customers are coming to our website, making purchases, and those purchases are generating enormous amount of data. We can learn from that about the average order value. We can learn about the customer lifetime value. We can calculate the average repurchase frequency and the repeat customer rate. We can learn about the product, which products are more trendy and which products are less trendy, which products are being acquired by new customers and which products are being acquired by repeat customers. We can learn about our customers, where do they live, what do they buy, who are the top customers, who are the top AOV customers and top customer lifetime value customers, and enormous amount of data that we can learn from the first-party data. And that data is a gold mine. And if we could leverage that data, it could be enormous, because that data is very special for 3 reasons, actually. The first reason, that's the most accurate data you'll ever find, because it's your data. It's your customers' data, your product data, your orders data, and only you have that data. So that's the most accurate data that we can use. Second point, it's the most extensive data, because if we compare it to the pixel data, there's nothing to compare here. The pixel data lives for 30 days or so. Here we can use the entire historical data, all the customers, all the purchases, unlimited time, and leverage that. So it's much more extensive than the pixel data only. And the most important thing, Google and Facebook don't have the data, simply because they're not connected to your store. So if they're not connected to your store, they cannot use the data. And if they cannot use the data, that's why we see mediocre results. And that's why you cannot distinguish yourself from your competitors. But what if we can take the data and use that to make Google and Facebook more accurate with data that they don't have? That could be a game changer. The problem is that first-party data is basically big data. And in order to use the data smartly, in order to understand the real correlations between the things that really matter, in order not to use data that is not significant and by that, make mistakes. In order to do that, we need some magic power that will be able to analyze that and actually help us leverage that data into better performance. And for that, we need AI. And what is AI? First of all, AI, artificial intelligence, is an attempt of machines to simulate the human brain. Now, you may ask, why would a machine want to simulate a human brain? Doesn't make any sense. The answer for that is quite interesting. A human brain is actually quite amazing. We have about 100 billion neurons in our head, and the neurons are the ones that are making everything. They collect data, they process data by interacting with other neurons, and they generate every idea, every thought, every action that we make. And in fact, each and every neuron can interact with 200,000 other neurons, which means that the amount of junctions that we have in our head is greater than the entire stars in the galaxy. It's unbelievable. We say that neurons that wire together fire together, and the speed of data transformation in our mind, in our head, in our brain can reach up to 270 miles per hour or 430 kilometers per hour. It's faster than any Ferrari that I know. So the basic idea is the following. If we can use the first-party data and simulate a human brain, but add to the human brain, the unlimited computing power, we can solve some big problems for the entire humanity, and even for e-commerce advertising. So that's the idea behind the artificial intelligence. And when it comes to advertising, which is not a huge problem of the humanity, but I guess it's a huge problem for many e-commerce advertisers, we look at a process that is composed of actually 4 stages. And I will touch each stage separately, but generally, we're talking about data training, connecting the AI into your store and analyzing the first-party data, then generating segments, customer segments, product segments, then using what we've learned in stage 1 and 2 in the ads creation, and use AI and generative AI to ease the ads creation and make it much more accurate. We want to make super targeted ads by using the first-party data, which Google and Facebook don't have. And stage number 4 is to optimize it 24/7 with AI, just like having a department of 100 optimizers working all day and making sure that your campaigns are upright and looking at the competition. So this is the process, and now let's just touch it one by one. The first phase of data training is where we actually try to understand what are the insights that we can use out of the huge amount of raw first-party data. And for that, we use BI. We use BI, business intelligence, which is basically an attempt to understand which data can serve for the advertising process that is significant enough, that is usable, and that makes sense. Because when you have a lot of data, you can find also many things that doesn't make sense or might be changed in 2 weeks, or just a noise. So you look at the correlations, and basically the module, the technology extracts from the raw data the things that really matter and things that you can use for better advertising. Stage number 2, which actually connects the AI to the BI, is the segmentation. What are segmentations? First of all, we have 2 types of segments. We have customer segments, or audience segments, if you may, and product segments. So what are customer segments? Basically, it's people with similar buying patterns, similar purchasing behaviors, and it could be by any dimension. It could be that me, as Mati, I'm a big ticket spender. I might buy expensive products. And Jonathan, you'll excuse me, I should have done it vice versa, but maybe Jonathan is only buying with sales. So it doesn't make any sense to target us with the same offer. You want to sell me for higher price, and you want to sell Jonathan when you have a good sale. It will increase the likelihood to convert, and it will increase the revenue. And just like that, we have many other dimensions that we can use. If Jonathan is buying his pet food every 3 months, and I'm buying my oil for the bicycle every 6 months, but we both are supposed to be buying this month because that's the repurchase frequency, we could be in the same segment of people that are likely to repurchase this month, even though we are totally different people and we are buying different things, but we have better likelihood to buy this month, and you want to target us before your competitors will do. So the segmentation is super critical, super important, and that's the best way to personalize the advertising and feed Google and Facebook with data that they don't have, that will make them more accurate. Stage number 3 is the campaign creation. In the campaign creation, the idea is to take everything that we've learned in stage 1 and 2 and to inject it automatically into the campaign. So you don't get a situation where you have some data in one place and then you need to move the data to the second place and you need to maintain it. No. You want it to be seamless. And the AI campaign creation actually creates campaigns that are going to help your business thrive, that are going to move the needle. So for instance, if you need to generate more repeat customers, because that's what the data shows, more budget will be invested in repeat customers. If your problem is with new customers, it will be invested in new customers. If you need to target a specific audience, it will be in the list, and you will not target other audience that is less likely to convert, and the same with products, and the same with channels, etc., etc. So the idea is that everything that we've learned in stage 1 or 2 will be injected into the campaign creation, and that the campaigns will be generated automatically or almost automatically for you with a simple wizard and with ease. You don't need to know much about Google and Facebook. Within the campaign creation stage, we have today technologies that allow us to also deal with the soft skills needed. So for instance, generating ad copy. I mean, in the past with AdScale, we've seen that people are, generating copy when it took them like 30, 40 minutes. Today, you can do that with what? 2 minutes. ChatGPT built in, tailored specifically for advertising. All the policies of Google and Facebook are inside, and you just press a button. And the same for video ads, and the same for image ads. So all the soft skills is something that you can generate. And then the last and the most important part is the automated optimization. Automated optimization means that you as customers, you only need to do 2 things. Define what is the ad spend, what is the budget, and 2, define what is the realistic return on ad spend that you want to get. From there, the AI plays automatically. It plays offensive in good hours, defensive in the bad hours. It will tweak budgets between Google and Facebook. It will switch the bids. Remember, Google and Facebook, they have a walled garden between them. Google sees only Google. Facebook sees only Facebook. Both of them have the interest to maximize your spend, and nobody cares about your specific interest. And in order to be able to optimize your campaigns, you need someone that sits on top of Google and Facebook and tweaks budget between Google and Facebook in the best hours for Google, and vice versa, in order to maximize your revenue. And the technical way it's being done is quite interesting. I'm talking now about budget optimization. Basically, this is not the same AI as ChatGPT, which is a lingual model. Here we're talking about mathematical AI, if you may, which means that for each and every campaign in Google, because that's where you define the budget, and each and every ad set in Facebook, because that's where you define the budget over there, the AI generates a distribution. In the distribution, we have a summary of all the historical data, like how much budget we gave and how much revenue we got. And from there, the AI generates the regression line, which is the line which represents the minimum variance of all the options. This regression line enables us to predict. We can predict in a high level of certainty what will be the revenue for every given budget. And we can do that for every campaign and for every ad set, which means that we basically have a prediction of everything. And now we need to know what is the optimum of all the optimums. So that's something that is being done automatically with budget. And in a similar way, also with bid optimization, and also with insights that helps you to structure the, gives you tips that you can implement in one click, and helps you to improve the structure of the campaigns, which is super important as well. So that's the AI advertising process in general. I will just repeat it. Training the data with first-party data, generating segments. The AI generates segments automatically. Create ads, and from there optimize the campaigns. The benefits are quite clear. You get better targeting, you get easy ad creation, and basically you get better results. I shouldn't keep this presentation too long. I'll just tell you about AdScale in a few seconds. We are an AI advertising system. Everything that you've seen, obviously, is something that we do in our system. The idea is to help merchants to get better results, to save agency costs, and to get better return for the advertising spend. We serve thousands of customers worldwide. And we have AdScale, and we have AdScale Managed, which is our managed solution for people that don't want to play on the system, but they want someone to do it for them. We have AdScale Managed as well. So don't be late to the party. My name is Mati Ram. Should you have any questions, or if you want to learn more, just write my email, mati@adscale.com. We will also be sending you a thank you email, so you can write us back if you want to learn more. And thank you so much. I promised Jonathan I will keep it for up to 20 minutes. Jonathan, I believe I met my promise. I see that there are some questions, but we will leave it to the general questions and answers section after Sean's presentation. Thank you so much for listening to my pitch, and I'm still here, and I will answer the relevant questions for me in the third section.
Thank you, Mati. I heard my name, so I jumped on. That's my cue. We'll talk about times after, but I think you did all right. And you're also right that I like to buy things on sale. So great talk as always. And even though I work here, I still love learning about the technology behind it. I just want to do a quick housekeeping note that we will be sending out a recording. There was a question for somebody who came late. We'll be sending out a recording tomorrow. So you don't need to worry about that. But having said that, we still hope that you'll stick around, and we do have quite a few people. In addition, you are welcome to ask a question at any time using the Q&A button. And as Mati mentioned, at the end, we'll be answering them. Now we'll go to Sean Finnegan from HyperSKU. I got the pronunciation right this time. And we'll hear about sourcing and fulfillment. Sean, take it away.
Great. Thank you, Jonathan. Jonathan, can you enable screen sharing for me as presenter?
Yeah, absolutely. Sorry about that.
Thank you.
Sean, I think you need to press the share screen button in the bottom.
Yeah, it's just saying it's disabled for screen share.
I need to make you a co-host.
Yep.
Just a second. Sorry for that. My bad.
Okay.
How do I do that? How do I do that? Here it comes. Okay, you should be able to do that now.
Perfect. I think we are good. This presenter view. All right. Well, Jonathan and Mati, I definitely appreciate you guys inviting me to the webinar today. So again, my name is Sean Finnegan. I'm Vice President of Business Development and Strategy at HyperSKU. And HyperSKU, so what we are, we're a supply chain solution founded in 2018. We provide a very streamlined sourcing and logistics solution for e-commerce sellers, brands, and now as well as boutiques and the creator community as well. So we, as you can see, places that we've worked in the leadership team that has been built here, we've incorporated many years of experience, resources, and then of course technology to deliver a platform that is free to use for folks to begin their sourcing adventures or move over to HyperSKU if they're looking for a very streamlined solution. We currently support thousands of sellers and entrepreneurs across the globe. So a little bit more about what we do, and I'll go through a bit about HyperSKU and then kind of jump into the sourcing and fulfillment preparations for Q4, because I know that's why you're all here. So HyperSKU is dropship and bulk order sourcing. So we really focus on niche verticals. So anything from women's fashion, consumer electronics, pet supplies, kitchen. We give you that convenience to be able to build your brands and your stores with the things that you may need and that you may feel you have built a good niche in, whether that's on, Amazon and marketplaces or through Shopify and web stores. And we are also a Shopify certified partner and have our app in the store there. So we're connected with thousands of factories within China, and we can help you, manage all of the sourcing and, all the process and things that go along with it, as well as fulfilling, your white label initiatives and private label products as well. We have a competitive advantage over others, and a real big value prop of ours is not having MOQs with certain products. We definitely give you so many options in terms of shipping across the globe, really. So I think we're well over 72 countries now in which we can ship to, with either bulk orders or drop shipping orders directly to your customers. So with the drop shipping and fulfillment solutions, after your customer places an order, all you really need to do is pay for that. And that's all done within the free platform that we've created. You can easily fulfill up to 100 orders a day per click. We can support up to thousands of orders today, depending on how big your store is. We do the purchasing, the negotiating, the picking and packing, and then the shipping out of all those parcels with a number of shipping options that you can choose, whether you're in the US, South America, or Europe. And we're consistently cutting down that handling time and that lead time to different countries. So the US, for example, I know is around 5 to 10 days and pretty much always within that 7 to 12 day time frame. So very advantageous in terms of getting products to your customers in a timely manner. And we support all of that with automation and tracking. So you will always know where your orders are, what the delivery rates are. We have our own global address validation and things like that to support all of those logistics needs. And those are all automatically synced to your e-commerce store. So for example, if you're using Shopify, it is a very simple flow once you connect to us to have those orders come into your store, flow to HyperSKU, and then once we fulfill that order, that tracking and logistics information will flow right back out to your store and to your customers with alerts. And that's especially critical, as you know, during Q4, where every minute counts and the customers are always trying to understand where their package is. A service and the automation that we have around tracking is super important when you're working in the holiday season and you have those WISMOs coming through. So where's my customer? Where's my order, right? Constantly getting those emails. So this gives that transparency to those customers. And then beyond that, we also have a great deal of post-sale support. So, you as a seller or entrepreneur want to understand, if there is an issue with a specific order, how is HyperSKU going to support you on the back end? So we have a dedicated team that speaks, I think, over 7 languages now that can support you with customer service issues to understand, okay, was this product effective? Was it lost with one of the logistics partners? Any sort of issues like that, we are really all hands on deck, and you get that support that you need and expect from a company like us in providing these types of services. So it helps you, decrease any dispute rates you may have with Amazon or Shopify, and ultimately it, improves your customer satisfaction across the board there. So at the end of the day, the customers are the most important thing that are running your business and running ours. So making them happy is critical, especially during the holiday season. And then beyond those, core services that we offer, we also get into a lot of branding services. So, besides just sourcing from us and having us handle all that legwork, if you need things branded, if you need, custom boxes, custom labels on the apparel, all those types of things. We have all those services as well. And it allows you to really have your brand stand out, give you a number of marketing tools in your toolbox to be able to create that brand and become the entrepreneur that you're looking to be. So now that I've told you a little bit about HyperSKU, I'd like to get into Q4 and holiday planning and for sourcing and fulfillment. So I decided to break this down in 4 components for each sourcing and fulfillment. So with sourcing, you're consistently needing to prepare your efforts for Q4, and it requires more than anything planning and a proactive measures to really ensure a successful season. So the first, I think, key point there to call out is analyzing data. So what you would do there is understand and review your past performance from previous Q4 periods, Black Friday, Cyber Monday, and then even the previous weeks and months. If you're selling trending products or if you hit some products that are going viral, you want to understand all of that data on your back end. Look at the sales that are coming from Shopify. Look at what you may have been ordering from HyperSKU or another supplier. And then identify those products, understand the peak demand periods that you may be facing in Q4 and what those customer preferences are. So this analysis can really guide your sourcing decisions going forward and help you focus on the products that have historically performed well. So it's a look back at analyzing that data and understanding what you're going to be selling in the Q4 holiday season. To assess is, I think, the second key thing there. So forecast your expected sales. Do as much forecasting as you can and analyze your current inventory levels. So understand what you have in stock, what you may have coming in your supply chain, and then what you still may need to stock more of for the Q4 season. So as you went in the first step and analyzed, what you sold last year, what you sold in the previous 3 to 4 months, now you can assess your inventory needs and make sure that you're bringing that stuff in if you don't have it in already, since we're already getting into mid-September, right? So forecast your expected sales, analyze your current inventory levels, determine if you have sufficient stock to meet the anticipated demand that you've thought about for Q4 and forecasted. And then if necessary, consider adjusting your inventory levels by sourcing additional stock from suppliers, from HyperSKU, or expanding your product range to cater to that seasonal demand. Obviously, Christmas, the holidays season, it's going to be more gift type items, more toys, things like that. So keep that in mind as you're working towards your stocking and sourcing. And then communication, I can't stress this one enough, whether it's communicating internally with what your SOPs are with your employees, what your processes are going to be for the holiday season. Establish clear communication with your suppliers as well, and share your forecasts and expectations with them. So I know that with our customers, we love to understand, what are they looking at, or what are they thinking of selling in Q4? What is their anticipated demand? What do the forecasts look like? Because us as HyperSKU, we want to make sure that we have that stuff in stock, or if we can get that stuff from our manufacturers to make sure that we're supplying you as the brand or the seller, the entrepreneur, so you can keep your customers happy. So really big thing here is establish that clear communication channels with suppliers, share your forecasts and expectations. This helps, folks like us prepare and manage production schedules. It ensures that we can meet your demands during the busy season. Regular communication also just fosters stronger relationships with the suppliers, and even allows you to expand your product range. And then the last point here is monitoring. So monitor that demand as you get into Q4, see what starts selling in October, early to mid-October. That's going to give you a pretty good, preview of what is to come potentially. Understand the customer feedback that may be coming, and then, of course, monitor your partners as well. Monitor the supplier performance. Monitor HyperSKU, other suppliers, and understand how they are doing. Make sure that constant communication is in place with them. So keep in mind to track the demand patterns, feedback from customers, and supplier performance. You really want to stay agile and be ready to make adjustments in your sourcing strategy if needed during this time, because it's still a bit early in Q4 in early October, mid-October. This could really improve ordering additional stock, for faster selling items, or even pivoting to alternate products if certain items are not really performing as expected. So once again, these key points here in terms of sourcing is analyze, assess, communicate, and monitor. So jumping into the, what I think are the 4 key points for fulfillment. So it's all about preparation again. So preparing your fulfillment efforts for Q4, it's essential to accommodate the increased order volumes for peak and ensure that deliveries and that communication is there with your customers and all of your partners and suppliers. So number one, it's to optimize, right? So resolve the bottlenecks you may have found in your supply chain, in working with customers and communication, those types of things, and streamline all of your processes and SOPs. This could include reviewing picking, packing, and shipping procedures if you have your own fulfillment, as well as evaluating your packaging materials and labeling system. And if you outsource those things to someone like HyperSKU or some other providers, make sure you're working with them on understanding if, okay, is the packaging right? Is a specific box size out of stock and you need to switch to something else? Talk to the suppliers, understand what is the most cost-effective solution for you. So it's never too early to start optimizing those processes so that as you get into mid-October and then early November, you have all those things in place to continue seeing things flow throughout Q4. Planning is, that's such a big one next to communication. So work with the suppliers to ensure the inventory needs are met and avoid stock outs. So again, analyze historical sales data and market trends to forecast the demand in Q4. Use this information to plan and stock your inventory as strategically as you can, and work with those suppliers to ensure that they can meet your inventory needs, because the last thing you want to do is start having a ton of stock outs during Q4. It makes for a bad experience for the customers and ultimately for your brand or store. Preparing is key. So prepare for appropriate staffing through January. And I say January because you get into a lot of customer service type things. So think of return season. If folks have stuff that they're not happy with as a gift, they want to exchange it or they want to return it for something else. Expect a lot of those things to come in January. So don't just think about staffing as prepping, for fulfillment during Q4. Think about those types of things for Q1 as well, especially in January. So understand the staffing needs based on your projected order volumes in Q4, and then hire additional temp help or seasonal staff as you feel is needed. And not only that, but ensure they're properly trained on all of your fulfillment processes to maintain efficiency and accuracy. So even if you have a small staff and you're outsourcing all of the fulfillment to, someone like HyperSKU or some other providers, and you have a small internal staff, it's that much more critical, right? It doesn't mean it's hands off for you, but it still means you need to prepare the folks that you do have in case someone's out sick or people are on vacation, those types of things. Everybody plays a critical role in Q4. So when it comes to fulfillment and just procedures across the board, that preparation with the staffing is very, very critical. It can really make or break a customer experience during holiday time. And finally, for fulfillment, look at doing testing. So test all your systems and processes to ensure that you can meet that peak season demand. So as much as you can prior to Q4, conduct testing on everything from your website to making sure that orders are flowing from Shopify to HyperSKU and the tracking is going back and forth. Test all of those systems once, twice, 3 times to ensure that they can handle a big surge in traffic, a big surge in transactions, and a big surge in order volume. Because if you can identify and address any performance issues in August and September, or scalability issues, you're going to maintain a seamless customer experience. And that's could be the determining factor if they're going to come back to you next season for purchasing during holiday. So then in summary, I wanted to provide you, I think, with which is what a good checklist is for you guys to, prepare the planning, the execution, and then post Q4. So, when you're thinking about the planning, again, review the past performance and lessons learned from previous holiday seasons. Make sure you don't repeat them if they're mistakes. Resource plan your staffing levels and review and update all your SOPs so that everybody's on the same page when volume hits peak levels. Work with existing suppliers to ensure you have appropriate inventory levels and get you through the holiday season. And then in execution, so when you're in the thick of it in Q4, as you get into November, Black Friday, Cyber Monday, make sure all that testing and monitoring the systems are working. Make sure they're functioning efficiently. Maintain that constant communication with your suppliers, your logistics partners, and more importantly, your customers as those orders are flowing. If there's issues during that time, you want to resolve them as quickly as possible. And, if you're working with a sourcing partner like HyperSKU, we are, staffed at peak levels at that time. So we're making sure that communication is constantly flowing with us and we're getting back to you as quickly as possible if there is any issues with an order or if you need to restock something, anything like that. And then last, in the execution phase, if you need to adjust forecasts during Q4, it's okay to do that. You're not always going to be 100% accurate in terms of what you're selling or what you need in stock or what you need to reorder. It's okay to adjust on the fly. It's better to do that than to just leave it and kind of see what happens. So adjust everything from your forecasts, your campaigns, and even down to your staffing needs as needed throughout that season. And then with post Q4, so have a really clear picture of any and all customer inquiries. So know, what happened, do a post, do a look back of what went on in October, November, December. Look at the customer issues that may be there. Look at how many returns and exchanges you may have to handle. Make sure you have the staffing and the support in place to do that. And then again, work with your partners like HyperSKU to understand how we can support you guys from, not only a logistics and fulfillment perspective, but also our expertise and our knowledge in the industry. Maintain that communication with your customers on all post-sale activities, as well as post-sale holiday sales, right? So they may be, they may have gotten something for Christmas and said, gosh, showed this to someone else and they would like to purchase the same thing. So always think about what you could be restocking in January, because if folks are coming back and, wanting to get one of those trending products, it's always advantageous to have, a bit of stock left over so those folks can purchase it. And then work diligently to restock those and then prep for the remainder of Q1 and preparing for spring. So I think, following the steps I laid out for the sourcing and fulfillment, and then in the summary checklist, I think you can definitely prepare your fulfillment efforts in Q4 for e-commerce. You can optimize your processes. You can have proper inventory planning, very effective partnerships, and then, a huge focus on that customer service. It's all going to ensure a very successful order fulfillment and customer satisfaction during the busy holiday season. So best of luck in selling, and HyperSKU is here to support you. Thank you.
And thank you, Sean. It's very interesting explanations about how to keep stocks up during the peak period and how to make sure that everything stays as smooth as it can when there's bucketfuls of sales.
Absolutely.
So if you can turn off your screen share, Mati, you can join back in. We'll get to some of the questions that were asked during the period of this webinar. So we'll start with an AdScale question came in for Mati. Can you use funnel-based strategies for e-commerce websites?
Yes, definitely. I mean, basically, we divide the funnel into 3 stages, like the upper funnel, which is the awareness stage, middle funnel, which is the consideration stage, and the acquisition stage. And we can also divide it into 3 other stages of, acquisition, remarketing, and retention. Generally, the goal in each and every stage is different. So usually with awareness, you try to maximize the impressions, and by that to attract more customers. And then in the consideration level, you can define exactly what is the goal that you want to maximize in the budget, and then you bring them into the acquisition. So we can definitely do that, and it's part of the audience selection phase, because when you define the audiences, one of the ideas is also to acquire new customers that are similar to your top customers, or acquire new customers that are similar to the customers who are buying a product you want to promote. And having the 3 stages in the funnel makes a lot of sense, definitely.
Okay, great. And Sean, we have a question with regards to drop shipping for a company that's located in the US, tracking information being provided to the customer. What sort of information can they glean about where the product is coming from versus where the company is located?
Yeah, so it's typically, after we bring the stuff in from China, the order, it's going to be established with usually a local tracking number, so that the customer has that information throughout the whole cycle. So they're going to see where it is once it hits the US, and then throughout, its journey, even down to the final mile. So we ensure through our platform that they get as many insights and tracking points as they can to know where that is.
Okay, great. For Mati, I guess we'll do a little back and forth, and we're still getting questions in. You guys are welcome to ask. We do have a bit of time left. Mati, for a new store without much data, is AdScale a good solution?
If you don't have data, we cannot use the first-party data. So it will not help you with the data point of view. It will help you with the ease of use. So it will be much easier to, generate campaigns with Google, with AdScale than with Google and Facebook, but you're not going to enjoy the first-party data advantage, which is the main advantage. So if it's a new shop with no data, I always recommend to start getting customers without advertising, gather some data, and then use the advertising arm.
Okay, great. And Sean, question regarding how HyperSKU compares with the AliExpress and Alibaba.
Yeah, so in a number of ways, I would say we're very much a hands-on and dedicated support type company. So we really focused on the client experience to ensure that your customers are getting the best experience. So the support level is, giving you a dedicated agent to work with to source those items that you're looking for, to make sure we're doing the quality control for you to make sure those products are up to what you want, to what you're looking for. And you don't always get those types of services with Alibaba, AliExpress. So it's more of a concierge, hands-on approach, dedicated to those clients and consumers. And then when it comes to the tracking and the logistics, so we've built out an extensive logistics partner network to where we're giving very visible tracking events to our clients and to the end consumer, where you don't necessarily always get that with AliExpress and Alibaba. And then we're always ensuring that we're meeting very, very strict metrics in terms of on-time delivery, making sure delivery confirmation is there as well. And then if you think about it, like those entities are so big, Alibaba and Express, and they do have their benefits, that's for sure. But with HyperSKU, you're working with the same team all the time. So you get that dedicated support and help. And, if you think about, you place orders every 2 months, every 3 months, you're coming back to the same folks. You're coming back to a company that you know and that you've been working with and established a relationship with. So we love to make sure we're building bonds and relationships with our clients to support their customers. And that's not always something you can get from other providers. And we strive to really beat them in that aspect.
Yeah, it's a great differentiating factor between you and some of the competitors that are out there. We've got a question for Mati about tips to optimize ad strategies for Q4. Obviously, there are some peak periods and some less peak periods. How long does AdScale take to give you positive performance, and also general questions about the strategy overall for this period?
So you asked me 3 questions. I can barely remember one. I'll start with the first one and then you guide me through. Let's start with the Q4 specific tips. First of all, I think that it's important to realize that there are peak periods and normal periods, and the budget utilization could not be the same. We need to keep the budget for the peak period, and over there to multiple the budget by 2, 3, or 4, and in the less important days to cut it by half or even more, and not get it into the situation where we are not left with enough budget for the peak days, because that's not going to be good. I believe I strongly believe that we need to look at the segments of people that we wish to target. Like, for instance, if we look at the repeat customers, just to give some samples, we can target the likely to repurchase segment, which are people that have the likelihood, the highest likelihood to buy this month. We can target the big ticket spenders. It's always a good a segment that helps to increase the average AOV. So if you sell with lower prices because you're doing a sale in the holidays period, you can balance it to some extent by, you know, bringing more big ticket spenders. And big ticket spenders is something that you can sell to your existing big ticket spenders, but you can also look alike that segment and try and get more of those from Shopify. We always recommend to look at the people who bought in the last season. Sometimes people only buy on these special occasions, so it is recommended to do that as well. Another interesting tip is to think about your loyal customers. I will explain that. The holidays period is the most important period to attract new customers and then to come back to them all over the year. It's just that it's a zero-sum game. So if a customer buys, he either buys from us or from our competitors. So everybody is trying to, you know, get new customers that used to buy with their competitors, but in many cases they forget to protect their own existing customers. So our recommendation is to look at the loyal customer segment and offer these people substantial value, substantial deals, in order to preserve them and avoid them start buying with other shops. In terms of a tactic, we have a tactic, we call it the long tail tactic, which we see that people are buying sometimes before the peak season starts or the peak period starts. And when I speak about the peak period, for instance, Black Friday, Cyber Monday, it's about 3-4 days of peak. But some people buy a bit before and some people buy a bit later. So you can have a tactic of, you know, generating an expectation. Big sale is coming, wait, 40 hours, 48 hours only left, 24 hours left, and then start earlier. Give a substantial incentive and start earlier. Start 8 hours before, 24 hours before, and get the early buyers faster than anyone else. And then also finish afterwards. So you can send them, like, you know, reminders of 4 hours left, 2 hours left, and then when the gong came, you send another email and you say, due to the huge demand, we extend it in 48 hours or 24 hours. So use the long tail and increase the long tail in order to generate the revenue. Now, specific tips. In Facebook, I recommend to generate new ads in existing campaigns, because if you have campaigns and you have some credit, you don't want to create new campaigns and have them being in learning mode or limited learning, and you lose the entire time. So stop your existing ads, generate new ads in existing campaigns, add a relevant copy and creative. That should work. When it comes to Google, I recommend in search to add the relevant keywords for the brand keyword. So if my brand keyword is Mati, it will be Mati plus Cyber Monday, Mati plus Black Friday, Mati plus Black Friday sale. So add the relevant keywords to the brand and the non-brand keywords. And also to add the relevant Black Friday or Cyber Monday category for the PMAX or shopping campaigns. So distinguish them from the relevant campaigns, and choose your products carefully. Don't let the budget be wasted on products with less likelihood or less competitive, or when you have not such a great offer. Focus on the things that are really going to move the needle. Narrow down the product to what could really work, and don't try to sell everything. That's a huge mistake, because there will be no much competition over there. The budget will go there because it's good for Google or for Facebook, and you'll be losing the timing. So in a nutshell, that's my recommendation, or like some tips for the period. What was the other last questions? I promised you I will forget, and I did so. So
I think you covered it all there.
okay, great.
Okay, so I think we're just about coming up on our time. I do want to thank again Mati from AdScale and Sean from HyperSKU for joining us today, sharing some good insight right before the Q4 rush. I hope that everybody found this as informative as I did. As a reminder, we'll be sending out a recording tomorrow. And thanks again for coming.
Thank you, Jonathan. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, Sean.